Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yes, welcome back.
This time, we're going deep into the world of AVEVA's PI system.
The PI system.
It's a software suite. You've probably never even heard of it.
Probably not.
But it powers some of the most critical industries out there.
Yeah.
You won't find it on your phone, but it's running behind the scenes in power plants, oil refineries,
manufacturing giants,
all that. We've got a stack of technical documents here.
Okay.
Installation guides, release notes, the whole shebang.
Wow, the whole shebang.
And we're going to decode it all for you.
Sounds fun.
So if you think about industrial operations as a symphony,
Okay, a symphony.
the PI system is like the conductor,
I like that.
orchestrating data from countless sensors and instruments.
I see, yeah.
All right, so picture this.
Okay.
A massive refinery. Sensors are tracking everything.
Tracking everything.
Yeah, temperatures, pressures, flow rates, tank levels,
All that.
all of it. That's a lot. So that's where the PI system comes in.
Huh.
It captures this deluge of data,
Okay.
and it stores it in its central brain,
The central brain.
the PI data archive.
The PI data archive.
This isn't your typical database.
It's not.
No. It's built specifically for time series data.
Time series data.
That kind that's always flowing in from all those sensors.
Yeah, I guess.
We're talking thousands, maybe millions,
Thousands or millions.
data points
Okay.
every minute.
Every minute. Wow.
All streaming into this PI data archive.
That is a lot of data.
It is.
But what good is it if you can't understand it?
Well, you're right. Raw data is only useful if you can make sense of it.
Exactly.
It's like having a library full of books,
Okay.
but in a language that you don't understand or can't read it.
Yeah.
And that's where the PIAF, or Asset Framework, comes in.
Asset framework.
It's like this master organizer
Okay.
that allows users to create virtual models of their assets. I think pumps, pipelines, entire production lines.
The whole thing.
And then they link them to the raw data.
So it's like creating a digital twin.
Yes, a digital twin of the whole operation.
That's cool.
And it's constantly being updated with real-time data.
So you can see what's happening right now.
Right now.
Live.
Live.
Cool.
And then that's where things get really interesting.
All right, what happens then?
So with this digital twin,
Okay. The digital twin.
engineers can go beyond looking at numbers on a spreadsheet.
You don't just see a bunch of numbers.
No.
So this is where PI Vision comes in.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
The sources mention that. Yeah.
PI Vision is the storytelling tool of the PI system.
Okay.
It takes all of that data,
Uh-huh.
transforms it into dashboards, trends, and interactive visualizations.
It makes it pretty,
It does.
so you can actually see what's going on.
Yes. Think of it like the control room,
Oh, okay.
where operators can monitor the whole operation at a glance.
So instead of looking at, like, a spreadsheet,
Right?
they can see a picture of what's happening.
Yes.
That makes more sense.
So instead of drowning in spreadsheets,
Yeah.
they can see in real time
In real time.
if a pressure is spiking,
Okay.
or a temperature is dropping, or a pump is about to fail.
That's really useful.
And that's the real power of the PI system.
Turning data into insights
Yes. Actionable insights.
that you can actually use.
Exactly. But the thing is, with great power.
Comes great responsibility.
Yes.
Right.
And the sources do highlight some of the challenges that come with managing a system like this.
I bet.
It's pretty critical.
Yeah.
One thing that stood out was the licensing.
Licensing.
Yeah. So AVEVA has moved to an aggregate tag licensing model.
Aggregate tag.
And it sounds like that's kind of shaken things up.
In what way?
Well, so the old model,
Yeah.
it tied the licenses to specific PI servers,
Specific servers.
which, that could be kind of restrictive,
I guess so.
especially for large companies.
That have multiple servers.
Okay.
But the aggregate tags,
Yeah.
they offer more flexibility.
Or flexibility.
Because companies can buy tags in bulk
Okay.
and then allocate them across their entire system.
Makes sense.
Sounds great, right?
Yeah, sounds right.
But there's a catch.
Always a catch.
There is.
What is it?
So to manage this new licensing model,
Okay.
every server needs a PI to connect agent.
A PI to connect agent.
Yeah, it's like having a passport control officer
Oh, I see.
at each server,
Okay.
making sure all the tags have the right authorization.
Checking their papers.
Exactly.
So added flexibility
Yeah.
comes with added complexity.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And that's a recurring theme that we see throughout these sources.
Really?
Yeah. The PI system is powerful, but it's complex.
I can see that.
Like data migration, for example.
Data migration?
Something as simple as moving the PI data archive
Okay.
to a new server.
Yeah.
Can be a huge undertaking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The sources made it sound like performing open heart surgery on a running engine.
Yikes.
Not for the faint of heart.
Nope.
There are strict procedures, multiple steps,
A lot of potential to mess things up.
which, when you think about it, makes sense.
Yeah.
This is mission-critical data we're talking about.
That's true.
What would happen if a refinery's PI system went down?
I don't even want to think about it.
We're talking millions of dollars per hour in lost production.
Millions.
Not to mention the safety risks.
That's a good point.
Exactly. Which is why there's such an emphasis on security in these sources.
Okay.
Mentions of Kerberos authentication, OpenID Connect,
Yeah.
all sorts of best practices to make sure the data is safe.
Keeping things locked down.
And that access is controlled.
So not just anyone can get in.
No.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of preventing disasters,
Okay.
the sources also dive into these high availability solutions.
High availability.
Yeah, things like failover clusters and collectives.
Oh, interesting.
Why are these so important?
Well, you know how you said the PI data archive is like the heart of the system?
Yeah.
These high availability solutions are like having a backup heart.
Oh, I like that.
Ready to go.
If the first one fails.
Yeah, exactly.
So in industries like this,
Critical industries.
downtime is not an option.
Yep.
A PI system going down could bring a refinery to a grinding halt
Wow.
or a power plant.
Yeah.
And that could be really bad.
Bad and expensive.
So these high availability options,
Yeah.
they're all about making the system as bulletproof as possible,
I see.
providing redundancy, failover mechanism.
Redundancy.
So if one component fails,
Yeah.
another one can just seamlessly pick up the slack.
Like nothing happened.
Right.
And that keeps things running.
Minimize downtime.
Keep the lights on.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the core of the PI system.
Yeah.
But the sources also mention some other parts.
They did.
Things like edge data store
Uh-huh.
and art reports.
Right.
But before we get into that,
Okay.
what stands out to you so far?
Mm-hmm. I think what fascinates me is the sheer scale of it all.
The scale.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And how critical it is.
Yeah.
These systems.
Yeah.
They monitor and control processes that impact millions of people.
Millions of people every day. It's mind-boggling.
It is.
And the PI system makes it all work.
It does. It really is a testament to the power of data.
To make our world better.
Yes. More efficient, more reliable, and safer.
It's like this unsung hero of the industrial world.
It is. Working behind the scenes.
Quietly keeping things running.
Keeping the world turning.
Exactly. It's the brains behind the brawn.
I like that.
And that brings us to those more specialized components.
Oh, yeah?
You know, the ones we mentioned.
The edge data store.
Uh-huh.
Art reports.
Right. That's where things get even more interesting.
Okay, so let's dive into that.
Let's do it.
This is where the deep dive gets even deeper.
Ooh, exciting. So edge computing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty hot topic these days.
It is.
And for good reason.
Why is that?
Instead of sending all that sensor data back to a central location to process it, edge computing brings the processing power closer to the data source.
So out on the edge.
But on the edge of the network.
So instead of all that data traveling back and forth, it's analyzed right there on the factory floor or out in the oil field or wherever.
Exactly. And that's where the edge data store comes in.
Okay, the edge data store.
It's like a mini PI system.
A mini one.
A compact version.
Okay.
Designed to run on devices out in the field.
Out in the field.
Collecting and processing data locally.
What are the advantages of doing it that way?
Sure.
It seems like it would add more complexity.
It does.
Having these mini PI systems scattered around.
It does add complexity.
Right.
But the benefit
can outweigh that. First, it reduces latency.
Latency.
Like imagine a critical safety system in a refinery. With edge computing, you can analyze data and trigger alarms in milliseconds.
Now.
Potentially preventing a major incident.
That makes sense.
You know, time is of the essence.
Yeah, in those situations, seconds count.
Exactly. And second, it reduces bandwidth requirements.
Oh, that's good.
Instead of sending massive amounts of raw data back to the central system, you're only sending the processed results.
So like a summary.
With insight.
Just the important stuff.
That really matters.
Yeah, like sending a concise executive summary instead of a 500-page report.
A perfect analogy.
And third,
it
improves resilience.
Resilience.
If the connection to the central system goes down, the edge data store can keep running.
Autonomously. Storing data locally.
And continuing to perform those critical functions.
So it's like a backup brain.
Exactly.
In case the main one goes offline.
Precisely.
That's really cool.
And as more and more devices become connected, all those sensors, actuators, machines,
the Internet of Things,
the edge data store will play an increasingly important role.
I see.
In managing that distributed intelligence.
It's starting to feel a bit like science fiction.
Is.
But it's happening right now.
It is.
Wow.
It's transforming the way industries operate.
That's really incredible.
Yeah. You also mentioned art reports.
I did.
Let's shift gears from real-time data crunching to something a bit more structured.
Okay, structured.
Okay, let's unpack art reports.
Sure.
The sources describe it as a way to generate reports from the PI system.
I see.
But we already have all these fancy dashboards and visualizations.
Right.
Why do we need reports on top of that?
That's a good question. Like, what's the point?
Well, visualizations are great for getting a quick overview, but sometimes you need more detailed information.
More detail.
The kind that you can print out or share with stakeholders, or use for regulatory compliance.
Compliance, that makes sense.
So imagine you're a plant manager.
Okay, I'm a plant manager.
And you need a daily report on production metrics.
I need to know what's going on.
Art reports can automatically pull that data
from the PI system,
format it into a neat table or chart.
Make it look nice.
And deliver it straight to your inbox.
Straight to my inbox, so I can review it with my coffee.
Exactly.
I like that.
And it's not limited to simple tables and charts.
Oh, okay.
Art reports can handle some pretty complex reporting needs.
Like what?
Including batch reports.
Batch reports.
That track the performance of specific production runs.
So if you're making a batch of pharmaceuticals,
for example, art reports can generate a detailed report on every step of the process.
I see.
From the raw materials used to the final quality control checks.
So it's tracking the whole thing.
Exactly. Right. And all of this is done automatically, saving engineers and analysts countless hours.
They don't have to do it manually.
Of manual data wrangling and report generation.
So they can focus on more important things.
They can focus on what they do best. Analyzing the data and making decisions.
Like having a dedicated reporting team.
Exactly.
Working around the clock.
Pulling all the relevant data and presenting it in a clear, concise way.
I like it.
And that brings us back to the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
The PI system with all its components.
Right.
It's like a Swiss Army knife.
Oh, a Swiss Army knife.
For industrial data management and analysis.
It can do it all.
It has the tools for capturing data. Organizing it.
Visualizing it. Analyzing it. And even reporting on it.
It's pretty impressive.
It is.
Even for someone like me who's not an engineer.
It's a testament to the fact that even in this age of flashy consumer apps.
Right, all the apps on our phones.
There's a whole world of industrial software out there.
Okay.
Quietly working behind the scenes.
Keeping things running.
They keep our world running.
It's like the invisible infrastructure that we all rely on but rarely think about.
Until it breaks.
Exactly.
And as industries become more automated, more connected, and more data-driven.
More data.
The PI system and tools like it will only become more important.
That's a good point.
It's a fascinating glimpse into the future of industry.
The future of industry.
And the role that data will play.
Data's going to be huge.
In shaping that future.
Absolutely.
It is.
It makes you realize that data isn't just
about numbers on a screen. It's about real-world impact.
Real-world impact.
It's about keeping the lights on.
Keeping the lights on.
The factories running.
The factories running.
And the products flowing.
Exactly.
It's about making our world more efficient.
More efficient.
More sustainable.
More sustainable.
And ultimately, a better place.
A better place for everyone.
You know, as we've been talking about all these pieces of the PI system.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much it's evolved.
It has.
The sources even mentioned this legacy application called PI Process Book.
PI Process Book.
Which seems to be on its way out.
Like on its way out the door.
Yeah, like the old guard is changing.
Makes sense.
Making way for this new, more modern solution.
PI Vision.
PI Vision.
Taking over.
And there's even this migration utility.
Oh, wow.
To help users transition their PI Process Book displays over.
So they don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Smooth handover. As companies modernize their systems.
It's a good reminder that even in the industrial world, innovation never stands still.
Never stops.
Always something new.
Always something new on the horizon.
Absolutely. And speaking of new horizons,
I'm
curious to hear your thoughts on something we discussed earlier.
What's that?
High availability.
Okay.
And the potential impact of a PI system outage.
Yeah.
The sources really emphasize how crucial it is to keep these systems running.
Yeah, it's one of those things it's easy to take for granted.
Right, until it stops working.
But then when you actually think about the consequences of a failure.
Oh, it could be bad.
It's pretty serious.
Like, imagine a major power plant suddenly losing its PI system.
Oh, no.
It'd be like trying to fly a plane blind.
Without instruments.
Yeah, no instruments.
Total chaos.
So what should happen?
Operators scrambling around in the dark.
No data.
Trying to make sense of what's happening. Without the real-time information they need.
Yeah, the data they rely on.
Decisions that normally take seconds.
Right, like that.
Could take minutes.
Or hours.
Hours.
Potentially.
Wow.
And that could lead to cascading failures.
And we're not just talking about inconvenience here.
No.
We're talking about potential blackouts.
Blackouts.
Production shutdown.
And everything stopping.
And even safety risks.
It's scary when you think about it.
It is.
It really highlights the hidden importance.
The hidden importance.
Of these systems.
Of these industrial data systems.
The stuff we never see.
But that keeps everything going.
Exactly. And it underscores the need for robust redundancy.
Okay.
Failover mechanisms. Disaster recovery plans.
So you got to be ready.
Companies that rely on the PI system.
Yeah.
They can't afford to be caught off guard.
Like having insurance for your data.
I like that analogy.
You hope you never need it.
Right.
But if disaster strikes,
they're covered.
You'll be glad you have it. That's a good way to put it. And it just speaks to the larger trend.
What's that?
Of data becoming so critical.
Absolutely.
To how our society functions.
Yeah.
It's no longer just about information.
It's more than that.
It's infrastructure.
Data is infrastructure.
The invisible threads that connect our world.
It's true.
Data streams that power our industries.
Our cities.
Our homes. Everything runs on data now.
It's an exciting thought.
Yeah.
And a bit daunting.
It is a little daunting.
We're living in a world where data is power.
Data is power.
And being able to manage it,
analyze it,
act on it,
is more crucial than ever.
Could not agree more.
Well, I think we've successfully navigated this deep dive.
I think so too.
Into the AVEVA API system.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
We went from the core components.
Yeah, like the PI data archive and PIAF.
To the cutting edge computing.
The edge data store.
And even explored reporting.
Our reports.
It's a whole ecosystem.
It is of tools that help collect, organize, visualize, and analyze all this industrial data.
Turning raw numbers.
Into actionable insights.
That people can use.
And I think most importantly.
Yeah.
We got a glimpse.
A glimpse behind the curtain.
Of the hidden impact of this technology.
The way it silently underpins so many critical industries.
Keeping our world running.
Keeping the lights on.
Keeping the lights on.
So to our listener,
the
next time you flip on a light switch,
drive across Brady.
Buy something from a factory.
Think about the invisible world of industrial data.
And the powerful software that makes it all possible.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been fun.
Into the AVEVA PI system.
Until next time.
Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And keep asking those deep questions.
See you next time.